Welcome to
Better lighting.
Conversations with Petra Nicoll. We are here this afternoon with a dear friend of mine, Teresa Holiday, and I will read you her bio. Teresa Holiday is a board-certified holistic health practitioner in Medford, Oregon, and offers biofeedback, nutritional guidance, hands-on pain care, and energy work. She has been helping individuals with a plethora of health-related concerns since 1993 and is currently studying German New Medicine. Her focus is on helping people take charge of their own health through information sharing and providing people with options for personal responsibility.
Yep.
Welcome, Teresa. It's so nice to have you here this afternoon. We both met at our house in Medford at a party, and we both found out that we had a lot of things in common, like biofeedback.
Yep.
And you have all these laser gadgets and more, devices than anybody can hope for. And then recently you were introduced to a wonderful device called Healy that is just coming out of Germany and will be launched in the United States in May. And that's why we're here this afternoon to talk about that. But before we do that, I would like to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
I know you're very, very busy right now during this COVID-19. Hold on. I'm going to edit this out.
Sure.
So during this COVID-19 situation, you've been busier than ever.
Actually, I have, and it's interesting because I have to be careful of how I work, and so biofeedback can be done at a distance. I also do medical massage. I am kind of one of those loophole people where I fit the medical model for pain care. And so I'm still busier than I'll get out just doing that. But I'm seeing a lot of people be very interested in the frequency perspective of health, the biofeedback, the fact that you can take care of yourself. And that's where my pushing personal responsibility comes in. So I'm loving this.
So how did you get introduced to biofeedback?
I was actually at a homeopathy conference in Chicago, and the presenter said, by the way, for anybody that wants to find out what they personally need, go back to room, whatever it was, and Dr. So-and-so will scan you. And I thought, scan? Okay, that's interesting. Obviously there's a toy involved, so let me go to the toy place, right?
Yeah.
And they scanned me, and I was fascinated that it picked up vaccines that I had had. It picked up maladies that I knew I had by just holding it for not even 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that fascinated me. So I started thinking, this could be a big breakthrough. I'm looking for a change in my business, and this gels with me. This is, you've got a device, you've got electricity involved or frequency involved. And it's giving you, details that nobody would know, right? And so that was the first time. So then I learned that there was another lady locally that does biofeedback with a completely different device. And I met her, and I love her. I'm not so sure I loved her device, but I loved her. And
we lost your sound a little bit. We lost.
I'm sorry? Oh, you lost sound. Weird. Okay. Sorry, where did it cut off?
Yeah, so can you repeat that? Because we just couldn't hear you for a few seconds.
Oh, gotcha. There's a lady here in the Rogue Valley who does biofeedback with a different device. Absolutely love her. The device didn't speak to me, but I'm fascinated, right? And so I found out the manufacturer of the device that I was scanned on I talked with them. I absolutely loved where they came from, every perspective of what they're doing business-wise. And I said, you know what, that's it. That speaks to me. And so sight unseen, I bought the equipment. I flew out there and started getting trained on it. I'm like over the top fascinated by it. My husband is a mainstream kind of person and he's fascinated by it. So that says a lot. So that was kind of my start with it. And when I was researching all the devices, someone highly recommended a unit called the Time Waver. And that is made in Germany. It's a very expensive device. And I started drooling over it. And, but, you know, my wallet said, you know, I don't know if I'm ready to go that deep in it. It was another $10,000 on top of what I was looking at spending.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, you know, let me not do that. But then somebody introduced me to the Healy, and I was open, but I was like, maybe not ready at that point in time to hear something. But they said, okay, I'll send you information.
So just to get clear with the audience,
yes,
the Healy is a device that just came out recently from Germany that will be launched on the American market. It's a very tiny handheld device. It's not the device that Teresa bought earlier.
That's this.
That's the size of the Healy, and it runs through an app on your phone. And so this little device can be owned by anyone. Like I spent $30,000 on my quantum feedback device called the Indigo. And it involved a lot of training, and you had to become a coach, and you had to take anatomy classes and do massive amounts of studying. And there were 800 programs to learn, and it does everything from aura reading to chakra balancing to acupuncture to the spine, blood, DNA, you name it, it's on there. And so now that we're in a world where we know that the body is electric and that energy medicine is taking off more and more, Teresa and I got really excited about the Healy being launched, especially from Germany, because we know if it's you know, a German product is usually a pretty good product.
Yeah, their engineering's pretty up there, yeah.
German, but
well, you know what happened was this guy, he's like, okay, I'll send you information. And I thought, yeah, whatever, you keep telling me about different things. And he sent me an email with information, and he put at the top of it, by the way, this is from Time Waver. And I may not have listened had he not said that. Right. But he said that. And so I started looking at that going, wait a minute, I've seen all the interviews. I've looked at the equipment. I've looked at the pricing structure. That was I think it was about $35,000. And you mean they've made a mini thing of this? What? And so I called him back and I said, tell me this isn't true. Humor me. And he starts telling me a little bit. I said, I don't think you know what you have. And he's like, so I started telling him everything I knew about Time Waver, and lo and behold, that moment I was sold. So.
And so you were one of the very lucky people in the United States that had the ability to get your hands on a Healy. And of course, you've given me a few sessions.
Yeah.
One of them, by the way, was Healy before and after blood test or blood analysis, which showed quite some improvement. And by the way, Teresa, I should tell you that since my blood test, I had a second analysis, and I did go on those products, and my blood looked very good. I mean, nice. It was already pretty good because I do live a very healthy lifestyle. But now I had markers from parasites from India in my 20s. I had some markers around, you know, cholesterol. My father, my great-grandfather all died of heart attacks and cholesterol problems. I had some of that going on. So that's all cleared up. But I am dying to get my hands on this Healy device. So
you know what? When I first started talking about this, it was October. And I was like, I was ready to go out the gate with it. I'm like, okay, I need my hands on this. And I became such a pest I think they were just tired of hearing me and they're like, here, please take one, you know. But they did kind of a soft launch to some people in the United States in, was it December or January? And might have been December. And so there were a couple, I'll call it beta units, that came out to people that were very interested in launching this in the United States. And then they were told, you know, we're willing to put a few more out there, but you get to decide who it was. And I'm sitting here frothing at the mouth going, okay, I need one now. And they finally said, you know, do you want one? I'm like, why is this a question? So I got mine. I think it's been used probably every single day since I've had it. And it's hard for me to get it away from my husband because he's seen so much benefit from it that, I mean, the pain in his feet alone, that's life-changing for him, you know?
So your husband had some physical challenges and...
Yeah, he's got some blood sugar issues and stuff, but he's got problems with his feet. So in the morning he gets up and pins and needles, right? And so he's been running one of the programs, I think it's circulation or something like that. He's been running one of the programs on there in the evening, and when he gets up in the morning, there's no pain. I mean, you go from like an 8 out of 10 to no pain. That's big. So he's sold on it. So, I mean, this is the few minutes I get with my own device. He gets it back as soon as I'm done here.
So can you show us how to use this device?
Sure. So, let's see, I didn't have it all hooked up. So this is the basic unit, and there are 4 packages that you can, 4 programming packages that you can buy with it. So that determines what the price is. Do you want me to go through that and say do you want me to cover that at all?
We can talk about this later. We can put some information at the bottom of it.
Okay, that's fine.
To get a hold of.
That's fine. Okay, now it got all knotted up. Okay, yeah, I just grabbed it.
So these are these little electrodes that you just plug into the device.
Yeah, so you plug them in. The charger goes into here. The plugs go into here, like this. And then you clip it on, like that. Okay, come on. And then you take the other end. And depending on what program is running, you'll either have bracelets. So these go on, they're Velcro, and they'll go on like this, okay? Or these pop off and you can put electrodes on these, or there are ear clips. Those are in the other room.
Okay.
Or there are ear clips. And so it's very do-it-yourself. It's very easy to follow. You run an app on your phone.
Down the freeway.
I'm sorry?
You can run this while you're going down the freeway.
Oh yeah. Well, because it works via Bluetooth with your phone. So, okay, so let me see if it'll...
How about the EMF from the Bluetooth? I mean, how is that? Is that not interrupting,
you know,
the purpose of the...
I haven't had a problem with it, but let me get rid of that. I haven't had a problem with it, but I know there are people that are really, really, really sensitive. If you have to have it near a phone and it's working by Bluetooth, they may have an issue, okay? But I haven't had a problem. Nobody that I know that has used it has had a problem. But if somebody's really hypersensitive, you're going to deal with the Bluetooth from the phone. This doesn't emit. You know, this does not emit. This does. And so that would be the problem you would have if you had one. But personally, I haven't met anybody that has. So
you could put the phone a little bit further away from you.
You can, absolutely you can. I mean, I don't have the phone next to me when I'm doing this. It's probably at least, 5-6 feet away. So I'm trying to, keep my distance from any issues as well. So oh God, there goes my dog. Sorry. So there are 4 packages. So the one is called the Healy Gold, and this is the program. I don't know if you can see it real well.
Yeah,
this is the menu that you get with the Gold, and it comes with one called Pure, which is a detox program, Care, which is kind of a immune system regulator, Balance is for generically your energy is good, being is more of a mental balancing, energy for those who don't have some, relaxation who need it, and release is for pain care. So that's the basic set of programs that you get. There's no subscription to that. There are other packages that you buy. So there's one for pain, learning, fitness, job, sleep, mental balance, beauty and skin, bioenergetic. This is what my husband runs all the time, is for immune system, circulatory system. He's got some eye issues, so he runs that a lot. Meridians 1 and 2, chakra balancing, protection programs. This is for cell phone radiation here, electrosmog, so Wi-Fi. General protection. I believe they're coming out with one that targets 5G issues. So they said something about that, but they didn't give a date on it. So that's probably going to be in the next upgrade.
What about for the virus that shan't be named? Oh, wow. This is for viruses.
So I can't make any claims.
Okay.
But I will say that I do have a viral issue and it's gone.
Wow. So we're looking at prices for the small program for around $500 to the big program around $2,200, something like that.
I think it's closer to $2,400, but yeah.
Okay, so people have a choice whether they get the same exact unit no matter what program they buy. It's the same Healy device, and you just upgrade. You can upgrade later. You can get the very basic, and then and then what I understand is that some of the programs you run a subscription. Can you explain that a little bit?
So there are some subscriptions. Again, this is going to be launched next week, Friday, so I don't know detail. But there are subscriptions to a couple of different apps. One is called the Healy Advisor. I don't know as much about that one because I've been going gaga over the other one, which is the digital nutrition app. And so that one, there's a watch that you can get. That one's about $250. There's a watch you can get. It's kind of like a Fitbit. And you can do an EEG on that. You can share it to, it'll go to your phone and you can share that with your healthcare provider. But it will also monitor, if you have the digital nutrition app or DNA, you can connect that with the watch. The watch will measure what's going on with you. It'll come up in the phone and tell you which nutrients you are depleted in. And it'll give you shopping lists. I think it'll give you menus. So it's basically your nutritionist on your arm, right?
That is so fascinating. So let me ask you this, Teresa. Are you still using your regular biofeedback device, or have you just...
Not as much.
Not as much.
No.
The feeling that I have that as soon as my Healy device arrives here, and I'm on your team, obviously, so
absolutely,
everybody that joins our team will be coached by both of us on biofeedback and how to use it, and all the ins and outs of what biofeedback really is. Can you explain to my audience a little bit what is biofeedback?
So biofeedback, you are measuring a person's frequencies, and if you look at every tissue in your body has a different frequency. We are energy, and if you are measuring different tissues like various organs and the lymphatics and the bugs in your gut and the parasites that shouldn't be there and each of those has their own specific frequency. And so biofeedback, the machine, picks that up and figures out, that shouldn't be there. You really need more of this. You really need less of this. Your energy level isn't very high to where it should be. Let's make it that level. So your device is different than mine. Mine works with lasers. Yours works with bracelets or...
Yeah, with electrodes around the forehead. Bracelet.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So mine works with lasers, and you do auricular therapy, and you imprint frequencies of homeopathy and flower essences through the outside of the ear, which hits your nervous system and impacts your entire body. Okay. So that's kind of, your brain works on energy. It's all chemical reactions to energetic interchanges, right?
Exactly.
And so that's how this works as well, is it has a quantum sensor in it that picks up your vibrations, and it figures out what you need And then it can, depending on what device you have, like I have the Resonance, which is the one for about $2,400. That one, you've got a program on here called Analyze, where somebody can just hold this and it'll come back and it'll say, okay, you need this program in pain, this one in mental wellness, this, and this. And then you can run those programs and it will, it will change frequencies every 10 seconds to make sure it hits everything that you need. Okay. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. but we're energetic. We're energetic.
I'm a good example of this actually really working, because I wanted to prove it to myself, which is why we did the blood analysis. So Teresa hooked me up. We did it for an hour. I felt really good, and I saw it on the screen after 1 hour. So the Healy session typically takes an hour. But like I said, you can do this while you're driving down the street. So with my biofeedback device, it's not a laser, it's a waveform. And so the device sends a waveform, but then if it picks up on say, for example, a deficiency in vitamin D or something, then that frequency of vitamin D then goes back to the body in, again, a waveform. And takes about 72 hours for all of these new frequencies for the body to download. That's why people feel so great and sleep so well and have, such incredible results and benefits, because the body goes out of stress for just a little while. When you're out of the stress of this fight or flight response to heal viruses or infections or whatever, then the body can remember what it was like when we were functioning. And so that's why I love biofeedback.
Exactly. And I think it's probably still a good idea to take vitamin D or to get out in the sun. Exactly. But I think this makes your body more welcoming to that, and more it makes things more absorbable, more receptive to what your intake is. Again, I don't have the programs yet, so I can't speak personally from it, but I'm going by the literature that I'm looking at, and I studied nutrition. It's amazing what you can do with this, and find out, instead of me having to go through and physically test points on the body, I run this. It tells me exactly what they need.
Well,
in a short amount of time.
So much easier to plug in than this massive biofeedback device.
It
comes in a case in a massive laptop, and I hook up people to electrodes on their forehead and hands and ankles, and this is super simple, and everybody can own one, and it's reasonably priced.
And that's the point. With the way things are going in healthcare right now, just as well as I do, that the powers that be are trying to shut down homeopathy. They are trying to shut down compounding pharmacists from including basic nutrients in their compounds. And when you're starting to look at that and going, okay, they're going to take away the things that work, and what's left is pharma, and I'm sorry, I don't do that. That's not my thing. If somebody else wants to, great, but that's not my thing. But when you start taking away that from me, this is my response, because I take personal responsibility for me. And this allows me to do that. And the nice thing is it allows everyone to do that, because this is doctor in a pocket. Okay.
I love that. Doctor in a pocket. I love that.
Doctor in a pocket, right? Well, that's my thing. It's like, my parents raised me to believe I am responsible for my own life. And who better to determine what's going on with me than the person that lives within this body 24/7, right? And if this can measure that and tell me more accurately what my issues are, I can guess. I mean, my nails aren't perfect, my skin, this, that. Okay, I can guess at what I need. This will tell me exactly what I need. And that's no more a guessing game. I measure myself, in a few minutes, I have an answer. And I can then, go to the store. I have an online dispensary. I don't know if you do. I have an online dispensary for supplementation. I have, accounts with various homeopathic companies. So I've got choices that I can, drop ship to people. Absolutely. But this opens the body up to receive that, right?
Yeah, I just recently found an amazing company that has extraordinary allergy remedies that work instantly. I mean, in seconds. I was so impressed.
Nice.
3 or 4 times a year, I have this allergy attack that just will not go away. And after 5 hours of sneezing and dripping nose and eyes watering, I run into the next pharmacy to get something, whatever. And if that doesn't work, it's miserable. And it was one of those days, and I ran into a friend who introduced me to this product. I'll list it on the bottom of the page, but
Okay.
Teresa just said to you, we have access to pharmacies, homeopathic pharmacies and so forth that are phenomenal.
Yep.
But we don't know where medicine is going, and hopefully it's all coming back to be more focused on dealing with the symptom rather than just covering up. And with biofeedback, it's so cool because not only can we send frequency, but we can actually then say to you, hey, you do need vitamin D. Go to the store and get yourself some high quality vitamin D3 or some K or selenium,
Yep.
whatever you are low on. So Teresa, when this Healy arrives in the United States next month, I hear there are a lot of people already waiting for this device, including myself, that has signed up weeks and weeks and weeks or months ago. Really, it's been months.
I know.
And we have not been able to ship it, and because of COVID-19 there were delays and all kinds of things. So where do you see this going for you, for us, working on obviously I want to help thousands and thousands of people get better and feel better about their health, and that they have the power to analyze themselves or find out what they need so that they don't need to spend all this money trying to search for answers. So where do you see this going?
I see more and more restrictions in healthcare. I see more and more mandates. I'm a fighter. I will fight for my autonomy. And so, having said that, as I said, I am a person that is very much into personal responsibility. If I'm sick, it's because I made myself sick. I need to change that around. But I need to know what to do. And that's where, like you and I coaching people, comes in, right? I see more and more clamping down on what people are allowed to do. I do not see them regulating frequency like this. And I mean, I will tell you, you have an imprinting station as well. I can make my own homeopathics.
Right.
Okay. But that's kind of what this is too. If you get the resonance, there are programs that come with it for Bach flower remedies and various salts and things like that. Oh, you haven't, I don't know if you've seen it. Let me read it off. No, not therapist programs. Oh, it's on Analyze. So there's a program that comes with the resonance called Analyze, and that one has bush flowers and cell salts and there's a bunch of other programs that come with it too. It is your healthcare in a pocket. It really is. You can do almost anything with this. The first couple of programs I ran on that, I felt my brain light up like I haven't in a long time. And so it hits you on a mental, spiritual, and physical level. Mm-hmm. And there you are. That's your healthcare. So as I see things shutting down, I know that I've got the answers for me right here in my home. And that's why, I'm focusing on speaking with practitioners of every kind in the holistic field, because that's how you get it out there more frequently and a wider audience from someone who's educated in the field. But anybody can have one of these. It's very easy to use. Why wouldn't you? It's a do-it-yourself solution. It could possibly eliminate doctor's office visits, and I'm not saying get rid of your doctor. What I am saying is if you're not feeling well, instead of running to your doctor every time, you run this. I had a head cold a few weeks ago. I ran this. It was gone in 2 hours. Gone, zero, dry, bone dry. So, what if you've got kids that get up sick in the morning? You run this on them. Yes, it's safe for children. There you go, family health care. So I see it going this direction for people that understand what's going on in the health field politically. This is, for me, it's a total answer. I don't need to know more than that.
That's fantastic. So you are currently working in Medford, Oregon?
I'm in Medford, yes.
And you are in a hospital?
I believe it's the original hospital in Medford. So I think it was remodeled initially in 1922, and then it was remodeled to be a hospital in 1927. So it's kind of interesting in the building. And I haven't felt any spirits yet, but.
It's an amazing place. I mean, it is really, truly. You go into this very stark, cold hospital, old hospital from the 1920s, and then you go into Teresa's room and everything lights up. So
it does. I have everything in there from oils to the detox foot bath. I've got a biomat. I've got my biofeedback equipment. I've got every toy you could possibly imagine to help people get better, you know. And I love what I do. I have a total passion for helping people. Probably comes from when I was a child, I had a birthmark on my arm. And my mom took me to the doctor, and he scared her to death and told her, oh, this is cancer, blah, blah, blah. And I went to Salt Lake Children's Hospital and had it removed. They sent the sample to Bethesda, Maryland, that came back and said it's negative. So my dad got to pay, get this, that was 1970, got to pay $5,600 in 1970.
Ooh.
When he realized that he'd kind of been had, I mean, it wasn't a life-threatening thing. It just wasn't pretty, but it wasn't a life-threatening thing. When he realized that, he kind of backed off from ever going to a doctor again. And so I've taken that maybe cynical, maybe critical approach to healthcare and going, okay, do I really need to go to a doctor, or can I take care of this myself? And the more educated you become on what can happen with frequency, with sleep, with deep breathing exercises, and clean water, and movement, and sunshine, the more you know about these things, the more you can take care of yourself. The Healy takes it to a whole new level. So.
What, Wim Hof ice therapy?
No, I don't do ice therapy. No. That's no.
One of my
warm weather kind of gal. No. But I know, as a body worker, I've had to do ice on my arms. I hated life. I don't like ice therapy, but it's very, very beneficial. But yes, that is one thing.
And by the way, if you, to the audience, if you would like to find out about ice therapy, just go to YouTube and plug in London Real and Wim Hof interview. He is fascinating and so such an inspiration to millions of people on the planet. And he healed himself with ice baths. I don't like ice personally, but I will stick my feet in ice frequently because it does boost my immune system. I know it does. Each time I do it, I feel fantastic the next day. And it hurts. It really hurts because when I was 5 years old, my feet froze out on a mountain skiing, and I came home and my grandfather put my feet on the ice water. And ever since then, I've had a total rejection of ice, but I forced myself to do it, So Teresa, is there anything else you would like to add? You have a website, and you have like people in your area that are close to Medford could book an appointment with you for massage. I will, on the bottom of the page on the YouTube description, put the information for Healy, so you can sign up if you like to have more information. There is absolutely no money involved at all. If people want to get on that list, they can sign up under the website there. And then if you have questions, you can call either Teresa or myself, and we can give you more videos to watch that are useful. I think it would be good to guide people towards the Healy videos for the United States, because they're now in how many countries are they?
Last number I heard was 44.
Okay, so it's going to be all over the world, and I think it'll really explode in the United States because we're more familiar with this sort of business structure here. And I think when it's unleashed, when it's released, there will be many people quite excited about this. And I'm super happy to be on your team, Teresa, because I know how much you study. And I know that if I can't answer a question, I can always tell people to call you. Luckily, you know, we both do biofeedback, so we both have that background. Now, you studied in Germany, didn't you? You more or less grew up in Germany.
Yeah, so I grew up in Idaho in elementary school and middle school, and I was having problems with the education system there. And my father's from England. He was fascinated by the Germans. He grew up during World War II. And he said, you know what, you need a good education and you're not getting it here. Go to Germany. Boom. And I went to Germany. I didn't speak German. That was fun. And fast forward, I did get a language diploma from the Goethe Institute. And I lived in Munich for a while. I worked for Siemens in Munich. I was in the travel industry for a little while. That was a lot of fun. But, you know, my German's coming back to me little by little. Really haven't had a lot of people to speak with.
Ja, ich spreche mit dir Deutsch.
Ja, wir sprechen Deutsch, ja.
So just so you know, I have a Bavarian accent and Teresa has also a really thick accent in German. So it's very funny when we speak with each other, and then it's not really German. It's sort of a mixture of like German English with words.
Germish, yes.
It's pretty fun.
But you know, I have an absolute respect for the German people in that they are in general a very intelligent people. They are very much into science. If you look at any of the German engineering, the cars, the equipment, anything that they make, they really put their heart and soul into it. They don't stop until they've figured out, crossed the T, dotted the I. They really are on it. And what I really appreciate about this, and I think you listened to Marcus's, Marcus Schmeek is the inventor, just let me add that, of the time waiver and the Healy. And he went to school, I think near Berlin. Anyway, he studied physics out of school, and then he became a monk, I believe, and he went on a spiritual quest for 10, 12 years. And he came back to Germany and he decided to make it so that science meets spirituality. And that's what the time waiver is. It surpasses the fine line between time and space. And it's just so fascinating when you get into the depth of his work. It's just fascinating. I mean, you know, great, this is a little health device, but when you really listen to him in German, I mean, yes, he speaks really good English, but when you look at him and he's speaking German from the heart, it's just, I don't know how to say it. You've watched it, right?
I have.
Yeah, and just what an authentic soul.
Well, he truly cares, and he's inspirational.
Yeah.
And marrying spirituality and medicine, or, you know, doing this type of work with people. We know that we are emotional beings. We know we are electrical. We know that we react to vibration. So we can't just look at the body as a, you know, a blood bone mechanism with a bunch of organs.
You know, and honestly, you know this from
99% of diseases are stress induced. You know, 99% of doctors' visits are stress related. Think about that. Think about that. So if you have no stress, and right now we're seeing more stress on the planet than ever before, with so many people unemployed and so many people not getting the food they need, there's going to be a tremendous need for us to get out and work with people. And you're already doing this, and I'm already doing this, but, you know, I walk away. I only have so many hours in the day during which I can do feedback sessions in subspace from a distance, right? I mean, how many sessions can you run? But if someone can get a device for $500 or something and run programs on themselves and use it for their whole family, that's fantastic.
And see, here's what I want to do. I want to move from doing one-on-ones with people to educating online. Okay. And it's not that I don't want the connection with people. I truly love that, but I can impact so many more people if I do it that way. They can come in my office or your office and they can get the biofeedback, Or they can have this and they can get online with me or you once a week in a webinar format and talk about the health issues. Like, you know, you joke about stress, but let me tell you how that impacts your health with heart issues and diabetes and this and this and this, and get into the true education that they never gave us in school, right? I didn't get it in high school.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the continuing education as an adult of really learning true health care and what the issues are. You know, I run into emotional issues all the time with people. You know, I'm studying German new medicine, breast cancer, directly related to your emotional connection with your spouse or with your siblings or with your offspring, with your mother. I would say 99.9% of it is probably emotion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the energy that you have here will construct your physical, for lack of a better way to say it. You know, you like the studies in Russia where, you know, at a distance you can bend a spoon with your mind.
ESP. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, in body work, energy follows intent. If I intend for the person to have the energy go where it needs to go, it'll go there, right? Same thing with my own body. If I'm constantly focusing on whatever the media is scaring you into, that's going to happen in your body. You listen to what's going on in the news and it'll tank your immune system.
Well, they did a study, and that's really why I got into biofeedback, where they tested people watching a video while they were running. No, hold on. Here's how this goes. They were watching a video while they were with some headphones and some eyeglasses that they had on, so there was no distraction. And these were athletes that could observe this really fantastic running, a sprinter or something like that. And what was interesting was they were just sitting in a chair, but the same muscles fired watching the video as if they were running themselves. And I've actually tested this, where I watch videos on skiing for hours and hours and hours. And I taught myself skiing through the forest in powder up to my waist. And I would fire the same muscles because I'm so passionate about skiing that my feet and my body moved like I was actually in that snow. And so this is how we are reacting to the news. Or if you're watching, you know, horror movies or violence on TV, your body actually absorbs this as if you're in it.
Exactly.
So you can't just say, oh, I'm just watching a movie. No, if I watch a horror movie, it takes me 2 weeks to clear it out of consciousness. You can't even do it at all. I can't. The other day I was somewhere and somebody tried to turn this movie on. I have to leave the room because I don't want to suffer for 2 weeks. And
I've tried it, and I've watched, I don't remember what it was. There was a lot of blood and guts involved and stuff, and it impacted me so much. It felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Yeah. And yeah, it probably lasted about a week. But you know, if you're very sensitive, if you're empathic, you know, you just can't listen to the news. You can't do it. You know, I used to tune in a couple minutes before the news started just to catch the first 10 minutes. I can't do it anymore. I tune in maybe 5 after, 10 after to hear what's going on locally otherwise, because I can't listen to the fear mongering.
So if anybody who knows who Sasha Stone is, I highly recommend that you look him up on YouTube. If you don't know if you have not heard of him. But I watched an interview with Sasha Stone today, and one of the things is that we're all living in a matrix. It's a simulation program, make no mistake. And so if we're collectively connecting to peace and harmony and love, if 7 billion people on the planet are in harmony, guess what we can create? There are miracles that will happen everywhere, and there won't be hunger, and there won't be fear, and there won't be lack, because we are now bringing in a different reality vibrationally. But if we are collectively in fear and stress and lack constantly of never having enough, then this is where we're supposed to stay.
You know, and from a German new medicine standpoint, if you are constantly in fear and not having enough, that will hit you in the kidneys, that will hit you in the lungs. If you look what's going on right now, the fear alone is enough to make your lungs susceptible to whatever's going to happen. And we could go down a whole different, discussion on how that shows you the fear alone will bring on the symptoms of what they're showing as a diagnosis now. That's how powerful emotion is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
yeah.
we're way more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. We're able to turn this around individually.
Absolutely.
You don't ever feel that you're powerless. You have, there's that movie, The Secret. I'm sure you've seen it years and years ago.
Yeah.
Now, when I had my New Age store in Roseburg and my juice bar, I had The Secret came out. And that scene with the gentleman that died in the car crash, and basically they told him he'll never walk again and he'll never breathe by himself again, and he healed himself completely.
Yep.
That story. Or the woman that had cancer and she just watched funny movies for 6 months and just never, succumbed to all these other invasive treatments, and she healed herself. Now, this is, we're not saying don't go see doctors again. We have to have full disclosure here for you. We do recommend that if you're very ill that you go to a doctor. But there are also other forms of medicine like biofeedback that are coming in now strongly. And I believe that Healy is the first one of its kind to be introduced to the world that is affordable and very easy to use and will help thousands, 100,000s, if not millions and millions of people around the world. And
I'm hoping for that.
Yeah, and whatever we can do to help you,
yes.
Get more information, get on board, find out about it, try it out if you're in our area. I live in the Portland area in Washington, and Teresa is further down south in Oregon, so we can come and meet you, or you can call us anytime. And we will be doing more webinars. So when my device comes, I think we should start telling the stories and also, giving people recipes for herbs and different things that they can make themselves. I just recently did some research on stinging nettle. And I don't know if you ever did any research on that particular herb, but it's a weed, it grows like it stings you. I mean, it can sting you right through your pants. This is how powerful it is. They actually they used to do these treatments in China where people would lay in them, actually. If you put your body, if you expose your whole body to stinging nettles, I mean, that would hurt like heck. That would hurt. I remember being a kid falling off the swing and falling into a bed of stinging nettle, and I thought I was going to die and ran home. I'm sure it happened to you. And
I was running and I was in a halter top and shorts.
Oh, painful.
Face into it, yep.
So Teresa, get this, it works on psoriasis. It helps people with psoriasis. But I harvest a stinging nettle and I blanch them and make pesto out of it with some basil and the usual.
Oh, wow.
So I'm doing at the moment like 50 jars of that I freeze throughout the year. So I have stinging nettle pesto for allergies. And I didn't really realize until I pulled it up on my biofeedback device. I have a massive encyclopedia on there, medical encyclopedia of all the benefits of stinging nettle, especially amino acids and so many minerals and vitamins. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to just bathe in it, but I first want to make the paste. Do you see?
Well, you could drink the tea.
Well, and I made tea too. We dried a whole bunch and we made the tea and it tastes fantastic. And, and there's so many different things that we can share with people here. And
exactly.
I just adore you. I'm so happy we ran into each other.
I know.
Thank you for introducing me to Healy. And I know this is the beginning of some really great things that are going to happen. And I can't wait to see you. I have decided, Teresa, to have 3 parties. One in Roseburg, one at the retreat in Medford, and one in Woodland. because when all this is lifted, this distancing situation
I know.
lifted, I think everybody will be ready for some music parties and some hugs.
By the way,
Yes.
I was really sick. Last year was kind of stressful, you know the story. And I decided to take 2 weeks off at Christmas. And the moment I decided, I came home and I'm like, good, I'm done. Yay, vacation. My body said, oh, no, you're not. And I was really sick for about 10 days. Fast forward, I scanned myself on my biofeedback device and it showed positive for coronavirus as a past event.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but the coronavirus, I find out from my research, has been on the planet longer than we have.
Yeah.
So, the coronavirus, I mean, don't you think that almost every human being would be testing positive?
I think there are different kinds, and they just supposedly the one that they found last year, supposedly, that'll be another call. But
there's the talk that it was tampered and also laced with some HIV stuff.
There's been talk of that. I can't prove it, but yeah. So, but it's been I think it's been in the United States longer than they're open to. So that's what I'm saying. I think I probably had it. No, it wasn't fun. I had 3 days where it was really bad, but I just, I had measles. I had mumps 3 times. I mean, it's an illness. Okay, you go through it and you deal with it and you come out the other end. And now you have natural immunity.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And so then they learn from people that have the immunity. I mean, it goes back to Hahnemann and homeopathy, doesn't it? Yeah. So when you are giving somebody a minute quantity of something that you're really allergic to, you create immunity. Like they took from bees, from the bee sting, that little poisonous little bee sting, a tiny minute quantity and diluted it 100 times. And then if you take that in your homeopathic remedy, then you're no longer allergic to bee stings.
Right.
So, so we'll see what happens. The
body is fascinating and nature is fascinating, and there are frequencies in nature, and we just have to make sure that we look after that as well. We're being bombarded with radio waves and Wi-Fi and 5G and the whole 4G and the whole 9 yards. So I think this is really a nice solution, along with the nutrition and the herbs and I think you and I can definitely help a lot of people this way, and I hope what we can do is get enough of these in people's hands that we can start more of an educational process.
Time to open a clinic, perhaps, or just travel and educate.
On Bora Bora?
You've already done the clinic, I get it. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really am so happy you're here and doing all this extraordinary work for people. And yeah, God bless you.
God bless you, and thank you so much for opening your world to these offerings and allowing me to help your tribe as well. So whatever I can do, I'm here for everyone.
Thank you so much. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bis nächstes Mal.
Bis nächstes Mal. Alles Liebe.
Bis nächstes Mal.
Ciao.